Good evening. Episode 194 of the BIC podcast. Brandon Bobbles and Ball Cards is here. I'm here. Brandon, we are Ericless.
Did he say he was at the loony bin in the text?
I got to be honest. Look, full disclosure. Eric did explain to me where he was going to be, but he was mumbling something about cycling, and I stopped listening.
Well, I could have swore the text that said something about loony bin. What did it say here?
Now, I got to tell you, Brandon, my biggest problem with it is that
Loony Mountain or Loon Mountain or something like that. Loony Bin Mountain, I think is what it is.
Yeah. So, Brandon, all I got to say is you would think that by now Eric would know that from Cardboard Cynics. Brandon, do I accept these things at face value? Do I not do some additional digging? Of course I do some digging. I don't believe anything Eric says. He's had a lot of concussions. He makes up shit. And he is a guy who likes the cycling, which is the drugs. So how can you trust somebody like that? So, Brandon, I got to be honest with you. I didn't believe a word the man said. He tried to send a picture from the supposed place. That looked like AI bullshit is what it looked like. Mm-hmm. So you know what? We're here. Eric came up with some random excuse. I think he's trying to evade the feds is what he's trying to do. But I happen to know for a fact that he was involved in one of his favorite pastimes, which is mayonnaise promotion.
Yep. He did have a, yeah. I
so there
about that, the shirt, and it looked like he had a little bit like around, like he had just ate a ham sandwich or something, Yeah.
So I think I've taken care of it. I've got an overlay here. So we do have Eric in spirit. He is with us in spirit in the corner of the screen.
Hellmans, you can throw a check our way too if you want.
Oh, please do. Yeah. Please do. Happily do so. Yes. So taking care of it. Problem solved. Let me get into the comments. Jim here. Good evening, folks. Hot one in Florida. They're all about the weathers. Carlos says it's 74 in Atlanta in my condo. Well played. Sven says good evening. Good evening. Hodges, good evening. T. Hawker, good evening. Good evening, Mike. Jeff. Eric is busy planning a new Dallas card show theft, allegedly. And look at this. Sanders Sonora, I don't like that. Oh, no, you don't
Eric,
like it.
If you've got time to be in the chat, then you've got time to be on here. I always get that.
You don't like it. You love it. You love it. Just like you love Hellman's mayonnaise. Call us. Hellman's.
Yeah. Don't worry about the guy smiling holding the jar. We'll take the check.
No, we'll take the... Listen, I've got Hellman's mayonnaise in my refrigerator right now, Brandon. I will make this happen.
Shoot. I'll eat a ham sandwich with... lathered
easily. I don't know what to tell you, Zach, but look, we got it covered. We're all set. Good evening, Orlando. Good evening, Tom. Oh, I bet you got the look of like, hey, they're onto us. Carl is advocating for the Duke's mayonnaise. Hey, listen, man, we'll do a taste test. We'll find out. That's right. Dan has it correct. Feds are on his tail. They know what's going on. They don't believe his stories either. They know exactly. Willie O'Ree told us about Eric. But anyway. All right. So we got a couple of the usual segments here we'll talk about tonight. And then I do have a couple of little topics I want to talk about. One of them, actually, we were discussing during the Patreon. And it actually came up earlier today during a live stream from Mangini and Rick. Had an impromptu live stream in the middle of the afternoon. I was listening to part of it, and then I was on a conference call, so I didn't get to check out the rest of it until after on the replay. But I want to talk a little bit about it. I know it's a topic that's been beaten into the ground. Speaking of, it's about to be beaten into glue at this point. The horse is definitely dead, but people still get up in arms about it. But we'll talk about it a little bit differently. I'm going to disagree with some of the stuff they were yammering on about because, again, it's not that big a deal. But I get why people freak out about it, but it's very entertaining from my end of it. Only 3 times? Well, there you are. Someone call Ash. Let's officially turn him in. Exactly. We'll get on this, Zach. All right. First, though, before we get anything else, let's do Silly Card of the Week. So, Eric is only here in absentia, so he is not included. However, we are going to give the result from last week's. Yes. Yes, indeed. All right. Let's do last week's, and then we'll get into the brand new selections. So this week you're going to have two selections, and then you're going to be able to choose from them. Community post, just the same as the other one. We had 50 votes last go around, so a good solid turnout. So let's take a look, and we'll see what the results were Then we'll give you the new ones. All right, here it is. Silly card of the week. Your winner is the headgear, the cheese grater, even though it makes no damn sense.
It doesn't. That's why it was perfect.
Yep. So fair enough. The Kent is that Eric continues to not understand the nature and format of this, but nonetheless, that was in second. So there you go. Every vote counts. The only true democracy in this world. So Brandon, you ready for this week's brand new selections?
Yes.
Here we are.
This is mine, and I'm going to be quite honest with all of you guys. I sent the link to Carlos. I'm not going to omit it into the voting to sway the votes, but you're more than welcome to go to Top's social media Facebook page and search for yourself. I seen a post they made, and it was the most ridiculous, dumbest thing I think I've ever seen, and it incorporated this card, which influenced my use of this card today. This is the Alter Egos Con Canoopel, I think is how you say his last name, Con Air. And yeah, just go to Facebook, type in Tops, check out the little video thing. It's dumb, and you'll gladly vote for my card.
Wow. Not with that attitude, Dan. Not with that attitude. It's live in our minds. So that's a selection. So I'm going to go back to the superfractor well here, Brandon, but I'll give a little bit of context. I want to talk about the Zodiac. So this is one of the many iterations of the artist formerly known as Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Because for whatever reason, after he got to WCW, he got one bad gimmick after another. And WWE, in its infinite wisdom, I think secretly hates this man. Because out of all of them, there were some bad ones. Zodiac was a bad one. Booty Man was a bad. That's a real thing, by the way. That was a real thing. He was also the man with no name. He was the disciple. Like, it was one bad gimmick. Like I said, the only reason he had a job is because he was best friends with Hulk Hogan, and yet he was subjected to this shit. And you too can have your own commemoration, a card that signifies a golden era right there of the Zodiac. And I think part of the gimmick, Brandon, if memory serves, because I only briefly remember the Zodiac, I think part of the gimmick is he never talked, or he talked in riddles. It was something stupid.
So does Topps give him a card for each of his names just so they can?
That's what I'm thinking. Based on this is what I'm assuming. So Brandon, what we need is a super factor of the Booty Man.
Yeah.
But
it would be like them to just, if he had 15 different character names, they would just give him a card for all 15, and then 42 parallels of all 15. Yeah, that would make sense.
So I'm saying, as I submit for your approval and consideration, the Zodiac 101. So there we are. We'll have a community post on the channel. You can pick your favorite. All votes will be counted. Oh, we have complaints in all times, Mangini. All times. Reason to be cynical number one. Mangini doesn't incorporate the chat. Facts. Well, I can do better. Don't worry about that. I can enhance it. I'll elevate it. Zodiac moonlighting as Brutus is hilarious. No difference except some colors and a bit of makeup. Yes. It was a humiliation ritual. And you know what? He did it because he had a job. Tap Wrestling Mafia. Indeed. Indeed. So, Brandon, I'm going to be honest with you. Other than some wrestling cards, I don't have any pickups. So I don't know if you have any pickups that you would like to share. You're more than welcome. I concede.
I get to share?
You get to share if you would like.
So, guys, y'all gave me so much crap when I was waiting on the ComC stuff. I'm having to make up for it, right? So I got 5 pickups. How about that? This one came in today. Paid a whopping $2 for this. Metal Universe insert, Planet Metal, Miro Heiskanen. I believe they're 1 per case, maybe 1 per half case, somewhere in there. Not an easy hit, 40 card checklist, $2. The way things are going today, this will wind up being, I don't know, $4, $5, $7, $8,000. I mean, look at other Metal Universe inserts, right? Next for the Walking Dead collection, Carl. Got Chandler Riggs here, season 8. I like the image on it. Got his eyes shot out. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Numbered out of 10. So got that one. Shared this one on my channel. The Rollboy Stadium Club 30-year stamp. These have a print run of only 30, and I love the image of that card. And then this was a freebie by some guy, which I'm going to make a cut auto. You know, he talks about how other people sign, but I don't know if he should be, you know, talking there. But we're going to make a cut auto out of that somehow. This was a gift from a co-host of this podcast, Mr.
Brandon,
Eric.
one would dare say, Brandon, a mayonnaise connoisseur, perhaps.
A mayonnaise connoisseur co-host, yeah. And then this was actually came in the same day. It was another gift from Sean. I can't pronounce his last name properly, so I'm not going to try. But this is the Trilogy Green Robertson, and it's also out of 10. So thank you, Sean.
Nice. Good mix of stuff. I like it. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm trying to find some stuff, Brandon. It's not a lack of effort. It's not a lack of trying, but it's I refuse to just buy something for the sake of buying something. The wrestling, I've honestly been more successful. So I occasionally will share one here or there, but that's usually all I end up doing.
I missed out on something right before we before we got into the Patreon, and I was kind of sad about it. But at the same time, I don't know how I would have went about it. But I've been building a Day One Lyle collection, and there was a pair of his game used pants from his rookie season, and they had the MLB hollow and everything on it. And I threw a bid on them, but I lost. The plan honestly wasn't to own a pair of his pants, but for the price they went for, it would have been sweet to take the logo man and like the Nike tag off of it and see if there was a way to make like a custom, or I don't know how much those people that do the customs charge, but I thought that would have been kind of cool, but I didn't want to pay too much for a pair of pants. So
nice. Dan says Brandon should have tons of pickups with all that Disney card money. Yes, it's all about the non-sport pump.
That card sold quick.
Mm-hmm.
The sports stuff, people are wanting to send stupid offers on. The Disney, it sold quick. So
they want a nickel and dime you. Yep. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. The Zodiac Gaming was only talking yes and no. I knew it was some weird quirk. Like he literally didn't cut actual normal promos. I knew it was something weird. Like I said, I think it was a humiliation ritual. We'll make you look like an idiot. we'll hamper you with something. It's a nice way of saying, indentured servitude. Co-host, indentured servant, same thing. Whatever, it's all good. Plus, mayonnaise connoisseur. The corner image kind of emphasizes it, Dan. It's emphasized, but yes. I actually am keeping an eye out on a couple of things on the eBays, but like I said, Brandon, it's one of those things where I'm not going to force the issue, but if I can make something happen, I will. I usually have my eye out on some interesting stuff, but no, it's just been a little quiet lately. It happens sometimes. So, it's okay.
I posed this question in the Discord, and I'll throw it out here for the chat. I'm not going to go into details, and you can look at this as either prop or card or whatever, but y'all know I'm a self-proclaimed cheap ass. And
we also proclaim you a cheap ass. Go on.
I found an auction that's going on for, it's mostly movie props. And there is an iconic piece, and I've showed it to multiple people, and they guessed exactly what it was instantly. And I want it. And it's from one of my 2 favorite all-time movies. But it's one of those things where it would cost a lot of money, more than I've ever spent on a collectible. And so I asked myself, even if I did win it, would I enjoy it as much because I paid so much for it? So if there was a piece like that, what would you guys say in the chat? Like, would you go for it and just suck up the regret later, or stick to your cheap ass ways and say, you know what, it's cool, but I'm going to let it go?
I think you actually hit on, so just as an aside, example notwithstanding, I think you just hit on something kind of interesting. And it actually plays a little bit into some of the things we talked about. Also, I appreciate Carlos here. I just discovered that Mr. Wrestling 2 used Roman numerals. Exactly, man. Manual in space indeed. Eric's incognito tab is getting excited right now. Or maybe it was Mr. Wrestling 11. I'm still looking into this. Find out. Report back your findings. This is important stuff here. But I think what comes up in your example, though, and I think this is actually a thing, so I actually want to take a second to talk about it. I think it's a good topic. See, this is what the Patreon is for, Brandon. I appreciate that you're bringing this to the table. With the prices of stuff going up, we talk about it, and obviously we can complain about it and all this stuff. And it's affected most people. I think most people who are operating the hobby have been affected in one way or the other. Some of us adapt more than others. Some of us are more bothered by it than others, but it's impactful, even if it just means paying a little bit more for stuff we bought previously. It's all part of it. That's fine. But here's the thing. At a certain point, if the price goes up enough, what you actually touched on a little bit is, okay, so maybe you can buy it, but at a certain price point, it almost becomes irritating to have it because you had to pay a certain amount. Like you actually had to invest a certain amount of money, however you have it, sell other stuff for it, or you already had the money around and you were able to do it. But at the same time, you committed so much to it. Does it make you feel good to have it? Or do you just get annoyed going like, what else could I have bought for the money that was thrown into that specific thing? It's cool, but is it cool enough that I'm satisfied that I basically committed the funds to this? Whatever happens down the road, notwithstanding, but I committed these funds to it. Can I? Yes. But do I feel good about it?
I'll actually just go ahead and throw it out there because I think it would add to the context. So first of all, it's from Die Hard, the first Die Hard. So 1988. And it happens to be the machine gun prop that Bruce Willis gets from the enemy in the famous line, ho, 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 now I have a machine gun. And I have never seen Die Hard stuff. Like you have to kind of search a little bit. Heritage does some of the the entertainment stuff. I'm sure Golden does some, but a lot of the stuff winds up in those bigger auction houses. And so I don't follow a lot of them, but I came across this one and I was like, that would be such a cool piece to have. Die Hard is one of my 2 favorite movies, Home Alone being the other. And I was like, they have an estimate on there what they believe it'll go for. And I was like, I could get it if it falls within that, but that would be a lot more money than I've ever spent on anything. It's already sitting at more than I've ever spent on anything. So I was like, would it be cool to own? Is it by far my all-time favorite, top 2 favorite movies? Yes. But at the same time, would I enjoy it as much spending that much money for it, kind of thing? So
well, that's the real thing. So the reason I phrased it the way I did is because for some people, if you paid enough for it, again, whether you can afford it or not is a different conversation. But let's say for the sake of conversation, you can. Let's say it's not going to put you in any problems with anything else. Everything else is good. Everything else is covered. Not an issue. But for a lot of people, if you pay enough for the thing, it will actually kind of bother you. It'll be like, oh, it's not that you had an issue specifically buying the thing because, again, you could afford it. In this scenario, you can afford it. But it actually makes you a little uncomfortable. Not even in the way that sometimes I'll talk about, because sometimes we'll talk about if something's so expensive in your house, is like, are you comfortable with the security or whatever? We're not talking about that. But we're talking about like, but I could have bought 100 things for what I paid for that, or a dozen things that would be really cool. And I might enjoy a dozen cool things instead of one, oh yeah, this is awesome, but do I feel, because if that same thing was available, Brandon, and you were able to get it for a third the price, how would you feel about it?
Great.
Yeah, you would just hit buy it now. We wouldn't be having this discussion
about it. I'd be like showing y'all when it came in and be like, look what I got. This is
so it's relevant.
Cool.
So that's what all I'm saying is the number is relevant. Because even if you can't afford it, if I offer you the exact same thing, but I offer you at 1/3 the price, you're not even hesitating. You're like, you know what? No. Absolutely. I will take that. Thank you. Shut up and take my money. You just throw it at him and move on and get your new item and you'll be happy with it. That's the reason why, though, I think it's relevant. And I don't think most people will think about it that way, but that's the real thing. Because even if you can't afford it, like there is a price point for everybody where it'll be like, you kind of have to think about what else could I do with that?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got options. Tom says, really depends on what it was. So something that defined me better than most of my collection, absolutely. If it was something that aligned with one of my many collections, then probably not. Yep. And that's fair. I think that's important. Basically, you're asking how badly do you want it? How important is it relative to the rest of your collection? And I think that all comes into play too. Hockey Hockey says if prices got too high, people get discouraged and find a new hobby. Yep. Or they can find a new lane within the existing hobby. Like, basically that's what prompts a lot of people to look at these other categories and areas. Bobbles will never notice how intensely Bobbles looks at the screen. I'm holding my wife for comfort. You should. Intensity. General Custard was very intimidated by that stare.
I have
MP5 is nice. MP5 is nice. It's a cool crop to have, yes. Med City Brew, good evening. Dan says, episode 1, should we get Baker stickers on all our Disney cards? Yes, Dan. The answer is yes.
We got to get a different name than Baker, though, on the Disney stuff. It's got to be like, I don't know, Rapunzel stickers. Oh, wait. Here, I've got the perfect one. I tagged Rick and Mangini in this. Look, I've already got it set up for you, Dan, for the Disney stickers. So I'll go ahead and embarrass myself on here. Yeah, there we go. We got the Paw Patrol stickers. How about that for your Disney cards? How about that? And I got the perfect applier of the stickers right there. She's cute. She's efficient. You're not gonna have to wait 4 months. Yeah, she'll pick a color, everything. So there we go.
You watch out. Old man Tag is gonna make little mini computers, and they're gonna apply the stickers for us on a 1,000-point scale.
Ooh,
that's what we need. Just mini computers. We just need to scale this thing
in Braille, though. They won't be stickers. It'll be Braille on the slab. Yeah,
correct. Dan says the eternal question: one big item or a bunch of small. Basically, though, that's kind of what it is. Again, in this hypothetical, I'm saying you can afford it. The issue isn't whether you can afford it or whether it's going to cause you a problem. It's like, cool, that's fine. What I'm asking, though, is do you want to commit it to one big thing? The question then is, how cool is it? How well does it fit in the... Is it a centerpiece? Maybe the way I would put this. Is it a centerpiece? Because, Brandon, if it's a centerpiece, I'm willing to commit a lot more towards it. I'm willing to say, okay, this is a centerpiece, though. If it's just, yeah, it's kind of cool, but I've got a bunch of other stuff that I like around the same level. It's like, oh, well, but I didn't pay as much for that other stuff that was also really... It feels like it has to be a step above. If it's a step above on another level, it makes me feel a lot more comfortable with it. Goofy stickers indeed. As a sports fan, sports card collector, no way am I pivoting to Disney cards. Sports cards are nothing. That'll teach them. Those stickers are worth paying for. There you go. Mangini sold. All my Disney cards are already in tag holders. Yes. And we're gonna get back to the coaster makers here in a minute, Dan. We're gonna get back to the coaster makers because I'm not done with our boys. Someone needs to grade the application of the sticker on centeredness, though. So actually, Carlisle, funny you mentioned this. So during Mangini and Rick's thing, in the chat, Mangini didn't see it because he didn't look at the chat. But if he had looked at the chat, Stuke made a reference to this. And I said, the obvious next move, Brandon, people talk about stickers and, put it on the slabs and all this. But what if we put a bigger slab on top of the slab, and then if we apply a second sticker, which judges the slab and the centeredness of the sticker?
I was thinking that route because these slabs get scuffed up, they get the scratches, maybe a little pressure fracture or something like that. The labels, Beckett, they would never get high grades on the straightness of the labels because they're always cockeyed and everything else. The clarity of the print on the flip. There's lots of things here that we could definitely. It would be more than just edges, corners, centering, and surface. We would have to go into a very deep dive on these slabs. And I really think that if we could get this down properly, this could be very, very, very beneficial to the hobby. We could raise the value of some of these slabs out there. Maybe the 9s get closer to the 10s. Hey, if the 10 has a scratch on the slab, that 9 might even sell for more. So it would add value to not only your cards, not only to your Baker stickers, but we would add value to your slabs. And I am BSing hard right now.
Brandon, I am sold. I am in. This is the next innovation. See, you're BSing. I'm thinking billions of dollars.
Hey, let's go for it.
That's what
then I can go buy the piece and not even have to worry about it.
Not even worry about it.
What was his name? Benjamin B. Money.
Correct. Tom says it's like the Jimi Hendrix gig used guitar, one of the Anakin limbs from Return of the Sith, or Lawrence Taylor's autograph special mirror. And absolutely goodbye to the rest of my collection. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like it just depends. Depends on the item. Mike Baker, 8-layer burrito, the turducken of encapsulation. I see where you're going. Exactly. Exactly. It is an abomination against the Lord, but it is a thing. Jagger says, chasing trends often means picking up cards you don't really want, simply to chase profit. That may be the way for others to participate in hobby, but not for me. But I'm going to push back on this. I agree with your statement, but I'm going to take it one step further, Brandon. I'm going to take this one step further. Sometimes chasing trends means getting the vintage card that a bunch of other guys have gotten because, see, it's cool. It's not about chasing profit. It's like, don't you want to be in the club? Don't you want to also have one? That's not about profit necessarily. Do you want to be left out? Do you want to be the one who doesn't have this exact same vintage card that everybody and their brother seems to have on their video?
So in one of the like 4 videos I recorded today before I finally got one that I thought would be, good enough to upload, I kind of mentioned something like that when I was collecting vintage and how I was kind of doing it because it's what the hobby has created or told us that is the iconic stuff. And I more enjoy collecting things of like, the players that I watch or keep up with or follow or whatever have met. And of course I've never met or watched or followed, contrary to the jokes, Babe Ruth or Mickey Mantle or any of those. I didn't have a dad that sat me down and talked to me about those players or cards. And I also didn't have a grandfather that sat me down and talked to me about cards of those players. So the connection there was, and I've talked about this a million times. The connection was the Beckett magazine, reading the articles in there, looking at, the prices that were in there of those cards and thinking, oh my gosh, these are the ones we need to own. But it wasn't really a connection to them specifically. It was being led by just essentially the prices and the articles and being told those were the iconic cards. So.
Sure. Let's see here. Russian Dolls Comrades. Da. That says, I only buy what the vintage influencers tell me to buy. Mike Baseball Collector? I know who he's referring to, but I know who I'm referring to. T206 Kid says, I saw someone with the card the other day that was graded by PSA. It had a holder around the slab, then a holder around the holder that was holding the slab. Yes. Yes. Spectre Gadget, guaranteed gorgeous card sticker. Love it. The guy who did a short or something naming the 5 vintage. Cards every real collector must own. All were 5-figure cards. What percent of us can afford that? Eric. He got it from the Mayo lobby. Right there. Once the fad starts being discussed by the Power 8 channels, I hold on to my dollars. Sounds like the vintage voice of the hobby. Good old bonkers. I bought Beckett for the articles. Oh, I bet you did.
The reader articles were the best, where the people actually wrote in.
Uncle Rich is the centerfold this month. Ooh la la. He'd probably be facing the wrong direction. He'd be facing sideways. Even it's too easy. Okay. Sven says, so is the slab got an NBA gold sticker found out to have been juiced by Kurt's card camera? Will it be stripped like they do in the Olympics? It's valid. It's a valid question.
I think they go by cycling rules.
Oh, I know who you're talking to, Dan, but I stand by what I said. When I think of vintage influencers, listen, Gordy Bonkers is on another level. It's not even Mount Rushmore, Brandon. Mount Rushmore exists here. But Gordy Bonkers is up on Mount Olympus alone. He does not deal with the mere Mount Rushmore, another level entirely. However, if we're talking Mount Rushmore, I got Baseball Collector, Mike. And I'm still working out the other 3 spots. It's a little lonely at Mount Rushmore right now. But Gordy Bonkers is another echelon entirely. We don't even need to ask. Vintage voice of the hobby. Bar none. Ask if you can pay with Fanatics cash for the Die Hard prop. Yes.
Is that the credit card crap? The rewards thing? So here is some 100% honest truth to you guys. I never go on the Fanatics app. I don't even have it on my phone. I don't know what the Fanatics cash thing is or the credit card or any of that crap. I have stood firm on my backing. And Carlos, I apologize. Close your ears for a minute because this is your channel. I hate Fanatics. Ruben, you can still send Carlos the check.
Yes, please do. The words of the bearded man are not those of this channel. We welcome your Fanatics money.
Yeah, and I don't mean to ruin it for Carlos if they ever heard me say that, but I can't stand Fanatics. So, and I you can go back on my channel like 2+ years ago. I was making videos saying how bad they suck. So, anyway,
we still love you, Ruben. Jayhawker says, I did pick up a couple of Tiffany Amber Thiessen cards, not because it's a trend, but rather because she is hot. You wait until we get all the posts. Breakout Cards is going to talk about Tiffany Amber Thiessen rookie cards. That's exciting. Dan's Vintage Baseball says, but speaking of baseball collector, he has a video about the importance of patience in the hobby. In the video, he has a moment of impatience. It's classic. True. Indeed, having a Zach attack is important. Underrated band in the 90s. Time out. What set did you get Tiffany Amber Thiessen cards? You see? The influence begins.
Boozle. The top trumps FHM has Aniston and Jennifer Love Hewitt. You'll have to ask the authorities if these are the true rookie cards.
The authorities, yes. Right.
But I believe these are the rookie cards of them too. Unfortunately, I could never get SGC to grade them because this one says World Sex Records and this one says Sex Bomb, and I guess they wouldn't grade anything that had the word sex on the front. But they're not like nudity or anything. So I don't know. But yeah.
There you go.
Non-sport pump for the win.
That's all I'm saying. FedEx, overlords of the hobby, will hear about this. I know. It's jeopardizing our millions. We may have to lean into the Mayo sponsorship sooner than we thought. So he said, good evening, gents. Isn't Fanatics Cash basically Fanatics store credit? Yes, it is.
Well, that would be why I have none.
Ha, Brandon. You see, Brandon, that is why you are a peasant. I have $1.20 in Fanatics Cash.
$1.20. I buy the Fanatics crap hats from Fanatics. If I buy them, I'll just buy them on eBay. I will not send them my money.
Dan here says, I had a running joke about Gilligan's Island cards and then checked the price and the truth became stranger than the joke. Exactly. Less stickier than the magazines. Allegedly. One can only hope. SGC can't grade them because their gloves are not rubber. They got to improve their equipment. Saved by the Bell brought us the first precious metal gems design. Goat of Gote. There you go, Paul. Starting World Baseball Collector. Listen, Dan is not a man of peace. I'm a man of peace. Dan, decidedly not a man of peace. Dan went on a 3-hour detour searching for Ginger and Marianne, but all he could find was Gilligan. It's a problem. It's a real issue. See, Brandon, that's why I like when we get a chance to consider these things, take a deep dive into them.
Well, since we've been on the topic a little bit here with the non-sport and, you know, the rise of it and rookie cards and all that, and y'all give me so much crap, I went back to like my roots and I was like, you know, how many people have the 1887 Abe Lincoln and George Washington? Like, these are the true goats of our country. Not Canada. Excuse the Canadians. Y'all have other goats.
I was going to say, get your own goddamn country. Abe Lincoln is nothing here. Nothing.
These were the OG rookies of the true goats. And they ain't worth crap. They're worth less than Disney. They're worth less than Walt. Come on.
So far.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And we're one breakout card. We're a couple of breakout cards videos, and then a couple of follow-up videos, and then a couple of follow-up videos, the follow-up videos, and then the copycat videos of the copycat videos of the copycat videos. By the time it's all said and done, it'll be $150,000.
Well, then I'm buying. Yep, I'm buying the machine gun.
That's all I'm saying. Indeed. Are you though, Dan? Are you just saying this because he's your buddy, or are you saying this because you know about his revolutionary past? Just saying. I don't know if you want to mess with him. Mike's been known to incite the odd revolution here or there. It's happened before. So yes. So quickly, I want to talk about one or two things related to that. My favorite thing about it has been that it's always we always have a rotating topic. Stickers is a rotating topic. We can touch on it again if we want to, but we already had a little bit of fun with it. But I'll say one or two things about it, and then I'll get back to the non-sports thing, and then I want to touch on the topic of the title. But let's just do this. So stickers thing, I don't care about them, but they also don't bother me. I understand why they exist, and I understand where the utility is. But I think a lot of time was spent trying to discuss them, and I'm sitting there like, why are you trying to rationalize or not rationalize? I don't understand. Well, then there's nothing to understand. Somebody saw an opportunity to make some more money, so they're doing it. There's a bunch of people who don't think much of them at all and still use them. Why? Because there's a chance to get some more money. Oh, but I can see the cars myself. Cool. Then buy the cards that you think are nice. Or don't. The dealer also has the same idea. The dealer can use the same eyes. Now you two can disagree on it. But there are people who need validation. By the way, this is true, Brandon, of everything. There are people who need validation here. They need to be valid. They need their opinion validated by somebody. They're not confident in it unless somebody else tells them they're right. Well, that sticker is validation for some folks. It's a shortcut. It's a simple way and it also gives the dealer a shortcut. They can just point straight to it and go, here, I appeal. Well, I can't tell with mine. Well, clearly not.
It's just like we've talked about, and this isn't even the validation part, but people can't decide if a card is, I don't know which term is the proper way. Some say rare, some say scarce, some say tough to pull, but so many times we see it. If a card doesn't have a serial number, people don't know what the hell to do with it. It could be one of the toughest hits in the whole product, but if it doesn't have a serial number, they don't know what the hell to do with it. And it's kind of like the same thing with the stickers and everything else. They need one person to tell you what the condition of the card is, and then another person to verify that that person and the other person in the office and the third person in the office was correct. And like you got 42 different people's opinions to decide, okay, should I buy this card?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's kind of here's the irony of it, Brandon. And I'm saying this half tongue in cheek, but also kind of seriously. The same situation where somebody would be like, "Well, I can use my own eyes." Okay, so then when you go to Strongsville or you go to the National, one of these other shows, why are you asking your buddy what they think of the card or what they think of the deal? Can't you use your own eyes? Why do you need to ask them? You can look up the comps yourself. You can use your own eyes, Brandon. Why can't you figure it out on your own? Why do you need to consult anybody? I'm not telling you no, but I'm just asking a simple question. Because I'll be honest with you, Brandon, 36 years of collecting, I have never asked one fucking person about any of my purchases ahead of time. I just buy the damn thing if I want it. Whether it's $1 or $1,000. I don't feel like I need to ask
my wife's opinion sometimes.
that's fine. There is a self-preservation reason for you to do that. What I'm saying though is I don't ask anybody's advice on whether the card is appropriate or not for me to buy or whether the price is right or not. I've either figured that out or I haven't. Now, I'm not saying that everybody needs to do that, so just understand me. But what I'm saying is, why would you then be a person who will ask that and then question why somebody else would need sticker for validation? Maybe that's their validation. Instead of asking their buddy to go, yeah, absolutely. That's a great deal. You should get it. Instead of asking them, they're just looking for the sticker. It's a shortcut.
I think it also just plays a part into where we are as a hobby society today. Anything that gives an edge to potentially make more money or reason for more money is going to become, it's going to wind up becoming trendy at some point. Again, if Mike Baker wants to throw Carlos money, please throw Carlos money. I remember
I take it just because it would piss off Dan. It'd be really funny.
I remember Baker being at Chantilly in like 2021, I believe, because I think the shows are shut down late 2020.
Yeah, probably sounds about right.
And I thought it was the dumbest thing then. But here he is, still chugging along, and people are talking about him all the time in 2026. He's also got, I believe, his own slabs now, maybe.
Yeah, they've got slabs. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, obviously he did something good enough to continue on. But when I seen him in Chantilly, that I really did. I thought it was the dumbest thing. It was literally a joke. Like, I was like, so we're grading the slabs now. We're grading the grade. That's where we're at now. But he's still.
I happen to believe that makes us right now, Brandon. We are currently in the golden era.
Yeah, we're like in the 5th inning from the turducken you were talking about.
Amazing.
We're getting there.
I'm in favor of this, Brandon. Praise the content gods. Praise the content gods. Amanda here. Stop saying non-sport. I keep thinking I need to pay attention. You always need to pay attention, Amanda. Take notes. Copious notes. Stop being a Judas and take notes. Everything is non-sport and everything's OPG. Bobbles. I told my wife that Carlos reads my comments and that she should stop ignoring me. Valid, Bob. I thought of Dan today, searching for sad stories of Shirley Temple to share for his new non-sports show. I think that's important.
Oh, Bob, I have the Shirley Temple.
There you go. I feel like this might be Eric's best. I'm sure you do. Yeah. I'm sure you do. There says, I feel like this might be Eric's best show. Yes. He's been doing great so far. This has been his best series of contributions, Brandon.
Yeah, he's had some good thoughts this evening.
Yeah. And listen, he has been helping, I must say, in contrast to a lot of the other conversations, he has been doing yeoman's work in helping us achieve the Mayo sponsorship that we richly deserve. Only happy stories on my non-sports channel for now. Minji says, I don't consult with anyone. Not even the vice president? What kind of megalomaniac are you? This is supposed to be a democracy, Mangini, not a dictatorship. Consult with someone. Go to the cabinet. If I asked Rick, he'd snake it from me, so I just hurry up and buy it. Josh says, good evening, gentlemen. And Eric. Did he get in a bike accident again? He's always in a bike accident. But you see, he's got a helmet. Safety first. Safety first. He says, I personally think stickers and graders grading slabs is mostly silly, but given most cards are sold online, a reputable opinion on iPill does the same value because the buyer can't see the card. So that's an important piece. So I do want to talk about this. So real quick, Brandon, we'll be serious here for a second. Okay, a couple of things. Part of the thing with grading for a lot of situations is if a card is past a certain price, I wouldn't necessarily be too eager to purchase it online without being able to handle it. If I'm at a card show, I'm very comfortable being able to take a look at it, evaluate it myself, see what it looks like, whatever. But if you're buying something online at a certain price point, now everybody's got a different threshold, by the way, of what that constitutes. Some people don't care. They'll just go for it. But then if something's wrong and you can't make it out from a scan, Brendan, that doesn't feel like a good place to be. So It does give you that one extra layer. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it does add an extra layer of comfort because you can't necessarily see it from a scan.
But with the authenticity guarantee, does it give you a little bit more confidence? Now, I know with you, it could be trickier because being out of country.
The cross-border does create a bit of an issue with that sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. But that does add another extra layer of security that I guess it doesn't if you're wanting the highest eye appeal or the best quality eye appeal and you can't tell very well. And a lot of sellers these days won't respond and send you better pictures or anything anyway. So I could see your point there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And everybody can decide whether it's worthwhile or not, or whether it's useful or not. But I do think it has made a difference in the amount of transactions that happen. I think some of those transactions that happened today happened because that is there. It does give them that option. And it makes some people a lot more comfortable. Again, if you're live at a show, then I have less of a problem or less of an issue buying something raw. So I'll give you an example, kind of on the side. I talked about a card that I've left kind of open-ended as to whether I'm going to make a move on it. And I showed it to Brandon. I showed it to Eric. And right now I'm still waiting and still thinking about it. The price has been slowly dropping on it. It's still higher than I would like to pay. But one of the bigger issues is that when I look at the scan for it, it looks like there's either a fingerprint or a smudge or some kind of an issue with the surface of the card. And it is a very expensive card right now still. So I've got a problem, Brandon, that scan isn't telling me everything I need to know. If I could hold it in my hand, I'd have a better sense of what the situation is. But because I can't hold it in my hand, and in this case, the card's not great. It's a raw card. Cool. But in a card show, I would be more able to make a decisive move here. As it is right now, I'm kind of waiting for the price to drop down a little bit. I would try to use and the thing is, I would probably want to use the eBay authentication thing, send it to my US address and use basically get as much additional security, Brandon, as I can, because I cannot handle the card. Therefore, whatever condition thing I think I'm seeing, is it the scan or is it something wrong with the card?
Could you have it graded through the platform that has it available?
I could.
Do they offer any type of guarantee in terms of grade?
There is, I know Neo has done something like that before. I'd have to talk to him a little bit about it. It's been a couple of years, but he did have something like that where there was an issue and he was able to get them to compensate him for it and basically take it back and refund him or whatever. But there was recourse because he got sent it in to get graded. But then I'm waiting for the grading, which right now takes incredibly long time.
Added cost on it too.
Correct. So it would give me more security, but at the same time, it will cost me. Bubbles, I'm well positioned for cricket's 2027 reemergence. It'll be the greatest week of my life. Somewhere out there in the distance, Don Bradman Curator is smiling right now, Bob. He used to be semi-regular on the channel. Don Bradman Curator or Don Bradman Museum. I forget what the exact handle was, but it was Don Bradman. There was somebody with that handle who would show up from time to time speaking the good word of Don Bradman. Hockey Cardboard says, can't wait until I have a stamp of approval for the eye appeal sticker validation for my card. That was great until someone's opinion. We talked about this. The plan is in motion. The wheels are moving. From your lips to God's ears, indeed. So John and I never discuss what we're bidding on. Shawkin says, does Eric race exclusive for helmets? Always. He's very passionate about this. Sven says, the NBA sticker to me is like the YouTube Hall of Fame. Why? Valid. Eric in a race. Yes. Doesn't bought all the Princess Leia cards. I see it. Angling the corner. Carlos says, what are your favorite non-sports cards in your collection? I have cards of John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, Julie Garland, and golf. Oh, wait. Some consider golf a sport. You know what I would say? Although, Brandon, I have already shown it. I would say that one of my favorites right now is my 1936 Walt Disney card in a PSA 8. Because, Brandon, I don't know if you know this, but PSA 8 is like the minimum grade that's acceptable. Anything lower than that, honestly, is for peasants.
Yeah. Well, for the chat, you know, there's a Shirley Temple, since she was mentioned. That's the 34 Godfrey. For John Wayne, I do have the Peerless. And then for Judy Garland, I do have 39 Gallagher. I would say my favorite non-sports would be, again, as I mentioned earlier, I love Die Hard, so that's Bruce Willis's air quotes rookie. And then I have some Die Hard cards that I really like. And the Japanese calling cards that I have. Those are not easy to grade, and some of those I have pretty high grades on. So
yeah, so I don't keep much non-sport, although technically I consider wrestling non-sport if I really want to get technical. But if I get away from that, like I said, the Disney card is amusing to me. But the one I liked was one that was also a gift, and it was the Ogden's Socrates, the Socrates.
Yeah,
that was a fun one.
I have some. That was a nice one. You have Socrates. I have Sir Isaac Newton, and I have a few other. I have like Rembrandt and a few other ones.
They're fun. They're fun for what they are. I like it.
Wait, I'm not supposed to show this stuff.
I know. Listen,
Dan in Cardboard Cynic says, Brandon Bobbles doesn't do any vintage. He's modern. No, wait. I'm not supposed to show this stuff.
Brandon, this is where I need Bike Boy over there. To be fair, I'll do it myself. I'll make him pay one in compensation for this. But to be fair, for you, that is ultra modern.
Okay, all right.
Just saying.
Yeah, that's modern.
Yeah,
let's not go ultra.
Oh, just saying. I like collecting SIG cards of British Kings. Don't knock the YouTube Hall of Fame. Oh, I will. All day, every day. Massey Drew says, y'all should create a sticker of Eric with Mayo to seal his one-touch cards. Maybe I will. Maybe that image down there becomes a thing. What is that one? Oh, John Wooden.
Yeah, Carlo asked if I had it handy. I actually keep this right on my desk, right next to my monitor.
Nice.
Next to my Honus Wagner.
Yeah, it says I got a 1936 British tobacco card of the Marx Brothers, 2 1863 Prang CDVs of General Sherman, and a leaf card of Gene Hackman from the Hooters with Nato. Blue Yays. All right, I'll open this one up to the chat while I get caught up on the rest of the comments. Start, bench, sell. Walter Payton, Walter White, Walter Matthau.
It's
a good one. I'll actually hit the little star on that. I'll come back to it in a second. I want to read the rest of the comments here and get caught up. I would pay good money for Felix Unger rookie card. Got a timeout battery until next week. Hashtag scratch golfer. There you go. Bobbles, YouTube Sports Hall of Fame will only induct Mike Baker and Walt Disney this year. All other nominations will be held 1 year. Would someone please pump Rocky 2 and Bionic Woman cards? Working on it. Actually, I have the entire set the Garland appears in. Very nice cards and very tragic figures. Dan's Vintage Non-Sports PC. Indeed. Bruce doesn't know what year it is, unfortunately. There you go, Jim. Sports Guru, look for the Bionic Woman.
Give me 1 second.
All right, go ahead. I'll read the rest of these here. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Good job by you. Let me just read here. I've got 32 Caramel of James K. Polk, our 11th president. Bobbles have his John Wooden autograph. Yes, he covered that. Pump some Alf cards and make me rich. Yes. There appears to be the opposite of the J-Rod pump. Listen, the J-Rod pump is always on the surface. It's not far away. I want Walter White to win. Yes. Evening. Paul, listen, he came up with excuses, but we've got Mayo Eric in the corner as kind of taking his place for this week.
So for Carlisle, since he was asking about Judy Garland, TCDB actually has this as like the first known Garland or first listed, unless the list has changed. But I sent this in multiple times to SGC and they would not grade it, as you see. So I don't know if PSA or any of them do. I've just kept it in the card saver here. But it's the Hardy family postcard. So I guess that's supposed to be the first thing that was ever released for her. But
all right, so let me take a look at this one here. Start, bench, sell. That's a tough one. I will start Walter Payton. I will sell Walter Matthau, and I'll bench Walter White. I'll go in that order. I have to think about that, but that's what I'm going to go
with. I mean, are we going for longevity here for financial purposes or things and people that we like?
It's open-ended, man.
Walter White could make us some money.
Yeah, listen, I understand what you're saying, but it is left as an open-ended question, man. It's start, bench, sell.
The show is pretty good, and I mean, you know, I think I would start Peyton. I'll bench White just to keep him on my roster and sell Matthau.
All right. I think you ended up in the same spot that I did. I think you ended up picking yeah, said the CGC. Maybe. I know they do some non-sport for sure. There's some awesome more committee that I'm holding. Live the dream. Liza Minnelli PC reveals the next few weeks, as you should. Daughter George, Judy Garland, Liza Minnelli. I got a bunch of 69 Moon Landing cards in the original box. Are they worth anything now? If you would make the videos and pump them, Mangini. If you guys would stop, if you would stop the John and Rick show and literally be like, Rick, before you say another thing, let me talk to you about the 69 Moon Landing cards in their original box, and then spend 45 minutes on that. Get on it, man. 69 Moon Landing cards of the moon. Get your friends to pump them. Yes. Yes. I got a whole 2 series of 1908 Willie's cigarettes. Every royalty in Europe. Hope that takes off one day. Brian Breakout cards. He's got an auction house now. He's got an auction house now, by the way. Just saying.
I don't remember what year these are from. But I'm looking like Eric tonight. Y'all talk about something. I'm like, shoot, just grab it.
You've been inspired by the tickle truck.
Yeah. The room is. I had this room a little better organized, and now it's all messed up again.
It happens, Blue Jays. We tried. We tried to ask the question, and I left it open to the people, but that's what we're going with. Listen, if the Kiss cards ever takes off Mangini, Eric will finally be in the money. Good evening, Stu. You missed out. We discussed your comment about creating the multi-layered stickerdom. Very exciting. Mangini would bring up the mid-'60s gum wrapper of the Russian who got into space first. The non-sport auction house isn't advertising enough. I think they need to sponsor some channels. Yes. Yes. It's true. It's true. All right. We'll circle back around to this one here in a couple of minutes. But before we do, let me touch on, Brandon, the topic that I used for the title. Let me quickly outline this and I'll explain it. So I said you and what bidders. So specifically what I was getting at was I was talking about the Celebrini sale for the Gold Outburst. Now, a Hockey Card Gong Show, we found out that Benjamin BE, who I showed the Instagram and stuff for last week, was the person who won the high bid. He was actually back on Gong Show, the episode that dropped today, talking a little bit more about it. So that's fine. But we found out over the weekend is that the underbidder was Jason Kuntz, which, you know what, Brandon? He may not be here, but in spirit, there's always an opportunity. So Jason Kuntz was the underbidder on this. And I want to touch on a couple of things about that. But before I do, Brandon, I think this is appropriate. Yes. It's Jason Kuntz, because of course it is. Now, here's the thing. Let me pose a question first. I'd like to get your take on this, and then I want to expand on it. But I want to ask one question first. Jason Kuntz is somebody who has a, let's say, checkered history in the hobby, as a lot of people do. There are a lot of people around here who have a very checkered history in the hobby. But let's forget that for a moment. Let's just stick to the basics. Here's my question. Forgetting everything else, you're the underbidder. Why would you need to out yourself as the underbidder? If you're the winner and want to share with people that you won it, obviously he's got an Instagram full of like big cards and everything. So he's the winner. If you're the one who won it, you sharing with people, like that's standard operating procedure at this point. You don't have to, but obviously a lot of people do. That's fine. But Brandon, why would you share? Why would you need to do an interview on a live stream to talk about being the underbidder? Why does that matter? You lost. You didn't win it. So what possible reason would it serve for you to give your story as the underbidder?
That I could not explain, but I would say I don't, obviously the Benjamin.
I have a theory, but I'll share it with you guys. But I have a theory, but I'm just posing it. The question.
Well, I mean, I guess to flex that you could spend that much on a card, but at least the Benjamin guy, like he's staying anonymous for one thing, so we don't know who it is, but we've seen his collection posted. We've seen that he's bought Celebrini cards. From my understanding, just from what I heard, Kuntz doesn't know anything about Celebrini. So it was like, I wonder if he knew who was going for it and ran it up a little bit. Because he knew that the person wasn't going to let it go.
Could be. It's a fair. Bobbles said, man, genius should start collecting dinosaur bones like most alpha men of the era. Yes. NASCAR sticker slabs, maybe. Kuntz trimmed his bid just a little too much. Kuntz can spend $1 million on a card, but can't find a chair for the interview. It is true. It is true. So look, I want to share this. I'll talk more about it when we get to the next Cardboard Cynics episode, but I want to share this now. And I'll share the image, but then I'll talk about my theory, Brandon. I'm going to tell you what my theory is on why Kuntz even bothered to do an interview for it or even explain to anybody that it was him. I have a theory. It's a theory, but I'd like to share a little more about it. So here's a social media post. And the only reason I'm bringing this social media post up is because it actually was posted only like a day or two ago. And this is from Steve Aoki's Card House. Now, I'm going to read you the caption, and then I'm going to get back to my theory. In 2020, I joined a group chat led by Gary V, where we nerd out about our love for cards. From that chat, we had a little hangout at Aoki's Playhouse playing games and talking about cards for the weekend. What a time. In this image, you will see Steve Aoki. You will also see the aforementioned Jason Kuntz. You will also see Josh Luber. A couple people are in this picture. And again, this group chat was created by Gary V. So Gary V is not in this picture, and then you got some other guys here who I'm not as familiar with, but they may also be other names. I have to do a little digging into it. But all I want to say, let me propose, let me throw out a theory. Again, it's just theory. So we can workshop it a bit and maybe come up with something else. Here's my question. You're the underbidder. You didn't win. But, Brandon, because you are someone in the hobby of repute, let's say, people know who you are, You've been around a little bit. Wouldn't you basically telling people that, oh yeah, I bid over $1 million or close to $1 million? Wouldn't you basically be saying, oh yes, but it's not just some rando, it's not just an institutional, it's not the exporting goods, it's whatever. I was the underbidder. I was willing to go to at least $1 million. So then, Brandon, obviously, it's worth at least $1 million because I was outbid, but I was willing to go to at least $1 million, and somebody bid even higher than me, which he did. But in that same conversation in Gong Show, Benjamin B said, I don't think it's worth that. I think I overpaid. And he also said, I think whoever bid on it wasn't a collector because no collector would want to pay this much.
Right. That's why I said, like, I just am curious because, you know, without knowing who this Benjamin B guy is, you have to respect, even though it's FU money, even though he is paying a lot for some of these pieces, he at least made a post and said, hey, he wasn't saying I got this card at a steal. I think this, because we hear that sometimes. Somebody will buy a card for $1 million plus, and they're, oh, I think this is a $3 million card. He was the opposite. He was like, I think I paid more than it's worth, but I wanted the card. And, you know, again, without knowing the person at all and being in a different league than I'll ever be in, you have to respect that as a collector because we all do that sometimes. We'll overpay on something. We'll pay more than we technically think it's worth just because we want it in our collection. And that's essentially what he did. Is his just had a few more zeros to it. That's why I'm wondering, like, because there was a comment there that said that he couldn't even, I didn't see that interview.
Yeah, that was Kuntz. Yeah.
I heard something about he didn't have a clue who Celebrini was. Then why are you willing to bid $1 million or up to $1 million on somebody that A, you don't have any interest in apparently, or B, you don't know who it is? Like, I've never heard him associated with hockey cards. Like, that just feels like shenanigans. And if I was Benjamin B, I would kind of be pissed at the dude because, look, I wanted this card. I wound up having to spend more than I wanted to. I don't think it's worth what I paid, but you screwed me by bidding to this point when you didn't even know who the hell Celebrini is.
Now, here's the thing, though, and this is an important piece. A lot of these guys, that's why on Cynics, I feature the Treasure Hunters podcast. And these guys are buying a lot of different things and paying record prices for it. In a lot of cases, the record price is the headline grabber. And the final result of the Celebrini sale was a headline grabber for the hockey marketplace. Like, it's $1 million in basketball cards won't really register the same way. But in hockey cards, it will, because outside of those Gretzky PSA 10s, nothing has approached that number. Nothing's gone close. But it stands out. There's a big number there. So I'm going to touch on here Jim's comment. The more important question is, why would someone pay that much money for a player that, yes, he's young, he hasn't really accomplished anything yet? So Benjamin B, on that Gong Show interview, they interviewed him post buying the card. And he said two things, Brandon, that I think are important to note. Number one, he said, I do think I overpaid for it. But in the same interview, he said, when it went over $1 million, I was still okay because I was still in it. And he even said, if it had gone to $2 million, I forget how he phrased it, but he goes, that'd be silly. But he basically said he'd pay it. Yeah. So in reality, listen, Kuntz, you screwed up. You could have bid another 700,000. He probably would have paid it. Fool. So the answer to Jim's question is, Benjamin B has almost more money than sense. And he said, I will have it. He's the opposite of the question that you asked earlier, Brandon, because for him, in that conversation, he said he believes the Gold Outburst is the centerpiece. He has all these other high-end Celebrini. He has almost all the other Grail Celebrinis. It doesn't matter that he hasn't done anything. He wanted that one, and he wanted it now, and he was going to have it.
And, I mean, this is just theoretically, if Celebrini does become a star, takes and wins some cups, he bought at a good price.
I think he's right. I don't think there is another person who's going to buy it, unless it's like a Dick Sporting Goods or whatever, who just wants the publicity.
Well, I'm saying, like, he controls all of the high-end Celebrini market. So,
oh yeah, he does. Yeah, I think there's one card. I think the Cup Shield is the only one he's missing.
So that was kind of my point. Like, if Celebrini does become an absolute star, accomplishes, becomes, I don't want to say one of the all-time greats, but a great of the current game even, then he's buying at relatively, to Jim's point, he's not really accomplished anything yet. He's had a great season, showed flashes, but look at what people paid on some of the Bedard stuff. Not this kind of price. What was the gold outburst Bedard? There was a high bounty on that.
There was $1 million bounty for it, but it was never redeemed. But it was never redeemed.
DA Card World or somebody did $1 million on that one.
I think it was them, yeah.
Yeah. So,
but it was never redeemed because it hasn't been pulled, or at least
right.
That we know of.
There was like so many stipulations that had to grade a 9 and all this other crazy stuff.
They wanted to protect themselves,
yeah.
Because they knew it was a wild offer, but so they wanted to protect themselves a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, but to say that it's crazy to hear one of these young players and somebody throwing $1 million number out there, it has happened. It just never got cashed out on.
Yeah, that's right. They look like they're going to trim some sports cars in that photo. Good evening, Coach Neil. Carlos can put 2 and 2 together. I'm too brain dead for that higher level thinking. Believe in yourself, Bob. I believe in you. Goods probably knows Ben or is Ben. I don't think he's Ben, but he might know him. Yeah, that portion of it I agree. Yeah, Kuntz is manipulating. So like I said, it is my theory. My theory stands on the following. Really simple. My theory is the only reason Kuntz basically outed himself as the underbidder is because he wanted to add basically an exclamation point that there was a person behind the underbid. Other than just leaving it open-ended, like who would the underbidder be? He basically said, yeah, I was willing to go to this point. I was willing to throw money at it up until that point, not beyond that point. And Benjamin B went past him because he basically was going to have it at almost at any cost. But there's nobody else that really was willing to push that far because it was already a crazy number. As it is, it's a record number, basically, for anything that isn't that Gretzky. And it's really only the one Gretzky.
Third place bidder would out themselves so we could see how far Kuntz pushed it. And then actually feel bad for Benjamin.
I think that would be the more interesting. Yeah, I think that would be the more interesting question. How much? When did they quit? When did the next person or entity? Because it could have been a group.
We know that there was the offer of 600,000 Canadian, right? Which roughly related.
That was a slap sharks.
That was like 450 US, I believe.
Something like that.
So we know that there was a number there already in place.
Yeah.
So
right now, that's the floor that we're aware of.
Yeah, but then you have to think that's $500,000 that it potentially got bumped up. So
yeah. So Carlos says, "How is it overpaying if you spend what the market demanding?" So this is an interesting philosophical question. Let me throw out a concept here. When you've got a market that's thin, so this again, it's just a concept here. When you've got a market that's thin, you've basically got in this situation where you've got 2 bidders that just go back and forth and push the price up. That third place is really important because the third place is going to tell you what would have happened if either one of those 2 high bidders would have not been there. Mm-hmm. Kuntz was literally just there. Again, I'll take him at face value. I don't care one way or the other, but I'll take him at face value. He has been getting positions, though. We know this. He's been getting positions in a lot of cards, Brandon. And a lot of cards are not because he gives a shit about the cards, but because he likes having the position. I just showed you that picture with Aoki and a bunch of those other guys. They're in a group text talking about these things. Well, you don't think that they don't talk to each other and go, hey, if you make a splash in this category, or hey, if you buy some stuff in this category, or grab a bunch of cards for this. Kuntz has a bunch of the 48 Leaf Jackies, and so does Gary V, by their own admission. Well, you don't think they've been comparing notes and coming up with ideas, Brandon? Again, it looks really big. Imagine, Brandon, if that same Celebrini card had sold for $750,000. That's still a lot, by the way. A lot of money.
Right. It's
but $1 million plus. But $1 million plus, though, in a category that doesn't really have $1 million plus sales, that's an exclamation point. It really stands out. Like it pops off the screen. That's why I use the basketball, for example. Like there's so many $1 million basketball cards now that, yeah, it's big, but like you're almost numb to it. Oh, this Jordan went for $1 million. This Kobe went for $1 million. This PMG went for $1 million. This Luka Doncic card went for $1 million. Blah blah blah. Like the Cooper flag is going to go for whatever it's going to go for if the guy ends up selling it. The point is there are multi-million-dollar offers on the table, so it's so commonplace that doesn't stand out. But in hockey, you are a mega whale if you're talking about $1 million purchase. It's massive. Like you stand out from that crowd. You're in a completely different level. So, Carla, it can still be overpaying if you as the bidder go, wait a minute, if this other person who almost is an institutional investor at that point, almost basically at that stage, wasn't there, how much lower would that number have been? And it could be significant. Whatever that third place person is, that's going to be the answer to that question. And we don't know. That's why, to Brandon's point, I would like to know who the third place bidder was and how far they were willing to go. And if that number, Brandon, is way lower, that is very telling. That tells you how much extra was juiced because of that other bidder.
The card sat at what, 222 for the longest time?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like people were wondering, was it even going to fetch the 450 target number to reach the Slab Sharks bounty that they had put out, because it was like just stuck at like 220,000.
Yeah. So now imagine if it had just been the Slab Sharks guys and Benjamin B. Like the Slab Sharks guys were willing to go to that number because they were willing to bid up to their bounty.
That's maybe why a little more. Said I'm curious who number 3 was, because if it was Slab Sharks, and even if they went a little above their initial 600, they're like, okay, there's a demand higher than what
there's 700,000. There's a 700,000 gap between the two numbers.
Right. If they went a little bit higher, but Kuntz wasn't involved, and they were number 3, imagine, like, that would just have to piss me off. Like, you didn't really want, like, why did you even want this card? You don't know who the kid even is. Like, I don't know. It almost. I think somebody mentioned that, does Kuntz know Benjamin B? And I guess it wouldn't be hard to, he's got a popular Instagram account, and you see the player pop up often, high-end Celebrini, you know that they're likely going to go for that. And so I just think it's pretty shitty if that's what the reasoning was behind it. But
Robert here says money laundering is a hell of a drug. You should check out the Instagram, Robert. I'll share it again later for you folks. It's literally benjamin.be.13. If you check it out on Instagram, that Celebrini, as expensive as it is not even in the top 20 expensive things on there. Oh, and Brandon, the ultimate flex. In that interview, he said he's going to crack it out and put it in a tag slab. To enhance the value. No, it's going to.
He has to have some connection.
Yeah, but that is to say, Brandon, though, in other words, he doesn't give a shit.
No. It's almost like he's trolling. It's almost like he's trolling. I got the money. This is like the synopsis of this whole story. The card isn't worth what I paid for it, but I wanted it, so it did not matter. And now I'm going to devalue it even more.
Yeah. My suggestion was, if you want to go that route, just set it on fire. Maybe that just goes straight forward. Lemon style shenanigans. Connor McDavid, believe it or not, is entering his 12th year of the season. Does he need to win a cup to justify some of the card value? For some people, yes. For some people, no. Everything seems to be record price until the next auction for the same item. So it would seem. The need for action exists at the penny slots. $20 whatnot breaks the team, and $500 mystery pack, and the $1 million price points. Exciting. The underbidder decides the hammer. Yes. Here. Agree with Dan. The underbidder decides the hammer. So the Kuntz Sports Card Live interview may be part of the pump strategy. That's what I'm saying. It kind of legitimizes it. It effectively says, it puts a face to it and says, no, I was willing to go this far for it. And someone did pay $200 for Wander Franco rookie. Well, they also somebody also
$50,000 for a Mac Jones.
You know what was my favorite one was, though? I think it was $450,000 for who was the Yankee guy? Jason Dominguez.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Sean.
Yeah,
he might have paid both. The Wander Franco, because he actually had pictures with Wander Franco holding the Wander Franco first Bowman Superfractor. So he might have been both, because I think he bought the Dominguez too.
My favorite thing is, at the time I made a video where I compared the Dominguez and I said, for the same $450,000, here's an Albert Pujols, one of the nicer Albert Pujols that you could have. A guy who already has the credentials. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's also $450.
I don't even. Or you can have Jason Dominguez. I don't think the Soto would be that much.
Oh, I don't think it ever got to that level. Not that I'm aware of. I'll stick to my 89 Fleer Glossy rookie, Griffey rookie that I pulled from a box set today. Live the dream. Mickey Mouse wasn't even the card was celebrating. I know. Imagine if he was. Rick says, I'm waiting for Carlos to pump and dump his Will Smith auto hockey card. Give it time, Rick. We got to let it marinate. Yeah, what you're saying about third place? I joke that I'm more excited when Dan wins an auction than me. I expect that's one less person being against me the next time an item comes up. Funny thing, though, that is true in some cases. If with, again, if it's more of a niche thing or a more niche category, depending on what it is, if there's multiple copies out there, when the first couple of people get theirs, the price on the next ones actually drop because the eagerness was to get the first couple of copies. Now it's in my collection. I don't need another one. It actually opens up room for more people to be able to get their copy. Shilling for Kenny G, maybe. We need to conspire more. Just shilling, he wouldn't have had it. Yeah, I don't think it's as much shilling as much as he was willing to buy it at that price point, but the next person was willing to go further. He's manipulating the wider market. Yes. His prices are crazy. Guess I should have took high school more serious, maybe. It's easy. Most of the time, third bidder is very important, but in the card, the goal is to pop one, so maybe bidder 3 is a little less important. Depends on the gap between 3 and number 2. If number 3 was close, then less important. But if there's a big gap between number 3 and number 2, very significant. Because one of those other guys drops out, that card price drops significantly. That's what we got. Because right now it's a 2-horse race. The question is, how far back was the third horse? The gap is the thing that we question. Can I tell a lie? No idea who Celebrini is. Think of him as hockey's Brian Taylor. Yeah. No, that's a reference just for Keith. That's a reference just for Keith. He has had a very good. He had an excellent season. He did have an excellent second season. By Kunsteri, that's right. Not that I'm aware of. I think that sounds like fake news. I thought that was AI. It could be a tag robot. We've not actually seen him. That is true. We haven't seen him. Who has more influence, bidder number 3 or bidder number I? Now you're asking valid questions. I like where you went there, Carlo. I like where you went. I like it. Benjamin B is old man tag. Ooh, no wonder they had his voice disguised.
I have wondered this, if after the interview that he was just so torn that he's like, I cannot be public anymore. And he's just had to go under the name of Benjamin B. You know, think about it, guys. Bobbles and ball cards, Benjamin B. It's the 2 B's, you know. And the voice changing and all of it. I mean, I'm not saying it's a thing, but it could be a thing.
That'll teach him, yeah.
And Rick, sure. He's the real deal, but let's not forget here, Benjamin B bought the wrong guy. If there was a 101 Jason Robertson Young Gun, hockey records would have been set and never broken. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. I've seen him play in person multiple times. So he's the real deal. There you go, Rick. Gotta promote your team. All right, so real quick, I've shared it already, but there were a couple of new posts, Brandon. So for the sake, just for fun, I'll share it here again. That's why I say I put it in the title. Brandon, was not an accident. It was you and what bidders. It was as soon as Kuntz put himself out there, I go, okay, now you've made this a little bit more interesting. And like I said, I gave you that Steve Aoki post that was only from this past week. I didn't go scratch out an old post. It was actually a recent post. And he goes and literally, that's why I like on Cynics, I tell Dan all the time, my favorite thing, these guys are literally just posting it on their own. Like, I don't have to go digging for it. Like, they literally hand it to me on a, I'm like, why did you feel the need to post that? In 2020, a group text of us got on with Gary Vee, and there's friggin' Josh Luber, and there's friggin' Jason Kuntz, and there's Steve Aoki. Okay, great. Good to know. The robot that broke Usain Bolt's record. How much will the robot's rookie card go for? Another 10 years of these athletes might be a thing of the past. Billions. Skynet. I know, exactly. I think Rick Vintage Oddball Cards is part of the consortium.
I will say, so there's somebody that is crazy intelligent. I don't know how many of you guys watched Yellowstone, but obviously, what's his name? Tyler Sheridan, I believe it is, or Taylor Sheridan. I might be getting the first name incorrect, but was the creator, writer. He also was an actor in it. And the whole thing is about ranching and horses and the craziness of that industry and all that. But then I noticed when I got home Saturday night late, there was this Run for the Million contest up, and it was literally the horse stuff that they do in the show, and there was none other. It was all created by the same person that created Yellowstone, and I was like, This man is a genius. He's done created a sport out of stuff that they were doing in the show, and supposedly the horses that were competing and everything were horses from the show. So I was like, huh, this is kind of interesting. Anyway, guys, go buy your I don't remember what the acronym was for the sport, but it'll be the next big thing. Promise.
There you go. All right. So real quick, I wanted to share this. So like I mentioned, so here is the Instagram post. I'll put a link in the description for folks to catch this on the replay. All right. So here's Benjamin B's Instagram. Now I already showed a bunch of this stuff, but I want to actually focus on the newer posts. So there's right there the post for the Hockey Card Gong Show episode. He's got a bunch of these, but here's another one. Here's one of these exquisite autograph patches. There's a Mark Messier. He's got a bunch from this set. They're all one of ones. Here's a Sidney Crosby green PMG. So there you go. There's a more established player, green PMG from that one. So that's on there. But he also does a lot of non-sport. So here's Moana, Pocahontas, CGC holders, gold PMGs in the tag slab, gold Kaboom, Jerry Rice. Here, these are all one of ones. And not only did he get all these one of one Kabooms, but in addition to getting one of one Kabooms, he had them all put into tag slabs. AKA, nothing better to do with your money, apparently. So if it's money laundering, Brandon, it's very wasteful money laundering, because in addition to that, you're also putting them in the slabs for what?
I don't know that this dude is necessarily money laundering. I think he's like got so much money he's trying to create write-offs.
Just it's like, let me take it. Whatever it was worth, let me put it in a tag slab and cut the value down by a third.
He's trying to create write-offs.
There you go. Here's the celebrating platinum portraits.
Like Upper Deck does some great stuff with Metal Universe and everything, but that one, the platinum portraits, I do not like that design.
Yeah, that
Maybe
one is
they
not
look better in hand. Hopefully, there's one at the expo I can see in person, but I don't like them in pictures.
Some more? I'll just go one or two more here, just to get the point across. But you can see there, you got your San Jose Sharks. Here's one of your Will Smiths, Rick, just for you. So Will Smith and Celebrini. There you go. You get both. You can have a double dose. And then here's a Connor Bedard if you want one. 1 of 1. So anyway, bottom line, you're welcome to go take a look. There's actually a crap ton on there. By the way, there's also baseball PMGs in there. There's also a bunch of different other ones. And there's also coins and other collectibles. You actually have to scroll down a bit. But he's on the set registry for PCGS for these super high-end coins. All the coins in the image, he put 9 coins in the picture. And then when you go to the next one, they're all $1 million plus. Every single one of them. It's part of that set registry. I think he's currently the highest one on that for now. I think that's a great question, Paul. I think we'll do it for Friday. I'll take a look at all the matchups that we got so far. I actually wouldn't mind talking about that on Friday. We can definitely do that. Good horses. Benjamin B. my first guest on my new non-sports channel. Yes. Can be fun cracking all those tag slabs. Yes. You got to be careful. They shatter. Wear eye protection. Dan, I'm working on a goop pumping Jessica Rabbit cards. If you want in, let me know. Yes. Old man tag. That video needs re-released. So it does. We need the extent. We need the remaster. If they go up huge, great. Increases investment. If not, his losses can net against other gains. Enjoying the hobby enjoys. Yep, it works out. You can do it. Why not? Collect the card unless it's in the wrong slab. Yes. I'm heading the Donnie Wahlberg 1989 New Kids on the Block rookie card pump. You see, Brandon? I can't even keep up with all the pumps.
And y'all are just overlooking the J-Rob pump. I see how it is. Guess I think you ran the J-Rob pump into the ground. At this point, they're all intimidated. They're like, "Have we reached the top?" No, they're overlooking it. I've been doing it subtly this year. Like,
Brandon, what inning are we in the J-Rod pump? What inning are we in is what I need to know.
We're not even out of warm-ups yet.
Bobbles, no dino bones. Beta. I know what you're saying. I'm pumping my Men in Tights movie cards. You see? Stu's got a small dino bone.
That doesn't sound right, Stu.
That sounds an awful lot like what happened in the first 30 minutes on Friday.
Yeah. Eric knew how to have a way with words that evening.
And the thing is, at a certain point, I think he gave up any attempts to salvage himself. He just kept digging himself deeper. Just kept going deeper and deeper.
He had a sharp pickaxe that night.
Yeah, just went for it. But yeah, I think the big thing for me is that a lot of this stuff, it was just kind of funny. I wanted to have a little bit of fun with it, mainly because I was, like I said, I was listening to Mangini and Rick's live, and they're frustrated, which I get. I got to be honest, Brandon, I'm not frustrated at all. Just real quick, I just want to finish this thought. I find this amusing. This stuff, as silly as it is, it amuses me. I'm not frustrated from a collecting side at all. For me, it just comes down to like, I've found the lanes that I like to participate in. If I look at it and I think the price is wrong, I'm not going to play. But I'm also not going to spend a lot of time worrying about it or complaining about it. Just, I don't care. Because my only question is, so going back to the topic from earlier, sticker, no sticker, graded, not graded, whatever. Do I think it's worth whatever it is to me? Not to the marketplace, to me. If the answer is yes, then we're good. If the answer is no, then whatever. Graded, ungraded, sticker, no sticker, it makes no difference. If it's not worth it to me, then who cares? That's just how I approach it. That's just the game that I'm playing. So,
well, something we didn't even mention on here was, and we talked about it in the Patreon. You can dislike the stickers all you want, but we already have a dilemma now, even with the graded copies to begin with, because you have the old label, new label, old cert, new cert, all that crap. And it's like, oh, well, they graded harder then, they were a little harder here, they're easier now, whatever. And that already plays a part in what people will buy or pay for it or whatever. So that's just another element of it.
Agreed. And we see the post Topps name showing Abe Lincoln hidden in the background of cards over various layers. Let's see. Post Topps made showing Abe Lincoln hidden in the background of cards over various layers. No, did not see that. Guys, how's it going, lads? Great to see y'all again. Good evening. And there are 3 Donnie Wahlberg variants. I love it. Oh no, Rick. I already have a vision into that future. That is called Carlos Sr. And Rick, Carlos Sr. gives less of a shit than I do.
Well, the question I had, and I think this is an important question.
Go on.
And since we have Dan here and everybody, because he's a professional.
Ask your question. I'll be right back. Keep going.
All of these prices going up and all of the non-sport and the Griffey and the Shaq and the Kobe and the Jordan and the Disney and all this other stuff. Where are we at with Pokemon? Like, is this just a ruse to take us away from the Pokemon talk? Because I've not been hearing much about it. So is that still a hot space? Is Target's getting overran? Are people still fighting at Costco? I want to hear about it. But yeah, it's been interesting that since there's been all the talk of Griffey and Shaq and all of that going up and sports cards getting its little edge again and, everything going up. And then, of course, the non-sport train. I don't know where the Pokemons went. I don't know. So,
my favorite part, Brandon, is that I follow on my feed. I'll get some YouTube, some Pokemon channels, and the best part is So for that example, you've got kids, basically. Effectively, they're kids. Some of them are young enough to be my kids, basically, and all they're doing is bitching and moaning how the Pokemon hobby is ruined. The best part is the sports card guys are bitching and moaning about the Pokemon people being there in the shows, but the Pokemon people, especially the influencers and people there, are going like, "This is ridiculous. These prices are out of hand." And I'm like, "Oh, you poor summer child, you don't even know. Don't even know."
It was a serious thing because we heard it, like, it was so much talk and like fire under it for so long, and then it was like, wait, well, now all I'm hearing about is the sports cards or the non-sport stuff. And I'm like, what happened to the Pokemon? I'm hearing that they're still overtaking shows and everything, but I'm not hearing people talk about how crazy like the market is and everything. So I was curious. I was like, is it still hot? Or are we just in the bubble on everything? Like, what in the heck's going on right now? So
Makes sense. Gotta watch Rick and Mangini fuss after this broadcast. Do it. Have some fun with it. The hobby is a ruse. Ruse says Pokemon is way down. I think some of it is, but not everything. There's enough money in it that some people are still not able to get the product. I will consider Pokemon down when the same Poke kids that are complaining that they can't get product finally get their freaking product and stop complaining about it. Now at the high end, that could very well be the case. They could be down. But I did see like a record sale for a Pokemon card the other day. I want to say one of the auction houses had like I want to say it was like $3 million or something stupid. I'll see if I can find it. I don't remember which auction house it was. That was the only problem. I have to go see if I can figure it out. I'll see if I can. I'll try. Margot Robbie's Amuse. Facts. The first rule of Pokemon is you do not talk about Pokemon. Probably all prepping for the 30th anniversary. That's true. That's coming up. That's going to be a big one. Sales are in a lull. It's all relative, but yes. Welcome to Card Hobby Poke people. That's right. I think Pokemon is still hot. I think, let's put it this way. Again, I'll go back to what I said a moment ago. If you go to the same card shows that people are complaining about at the Pokemon dealers, Brandon, and those tables are abandoned, then we can talk about them cooling off. But as long as the Poke kids are still showing up and those dealers are still setting up at the shows because they're still able to make their money, for now, they're still kind of chugging along. And when they stop sending in cards for grading, they stop sending in every card.
Well, that was the other thing. It was like, for so long, we were hearing so much about it. And then I just noticed that it's kind of died off, like the chatter, or at least in my feeds. Maybe my algorithm changed. I don't know. Maybe since I've been doing videos, YouTube's like, we're not going to show you that stuff. I don't know. But I just felt like it chilled off a little bit from hearing about it. Even the Discord, like there hasn't been a lot of chatter in there on it. So I was just doing a heat check on it to see, are we still hot everywhere? Or did people jump out of that ship? And maybe that's why we're seeing a little bit of what we're seeing in sports. Who knows?
Well, I think, look, I think there is money in certain categories. I think we got to remember something important. I'll put it this way. The reason why the Celebrini thing was funny for me is because obviously it is a record sale. The Jason Kuntz being involved in it obviously throws a wrinkle in it. It kind of makes it entertaining. But here's an important piece. There is still a lot of money in a lot of categories. However, that's not across the board. There's a lot of things that are still available for basically the same price they were available before. Nothing's really changed. It depends. Now, I can tell you right now, some stuff that I want to go after, the price has escalated 100%. So I'll use Medano as an example. Medano hasn't done anything in years. Like he's been retired since 2011. Nothing's changed. However, like we've talked about before, the shield cards have gone crazy almost across the board. Like that one shield card sold for 9,000. I can't get a shield card for what it would have gone 5-10 years ago, anywhere close. And I'm not willing to pay that price. But the problem is somebody else is now. For some of the super high-end stuff, like stuff from the Cup or whatever, those prices have escalated. Those prices have gone up a lot from where they used to be. Because I can tell you right now, I was able to get some of those patch autographs. I have them in my collection. I was able to get some of them for a bargain compared to what they go for now. Yeah, the exact same card.
We've talked about, Ben, and you have a limited logo in the RPA, and I've been waiting for someone to list one or put it on auction to where I could get it for what they normally go for, but everybody's trying to get higher. So
kind of says the ones who are loving their TCGs are Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe not One Piece a little bit. All the influencers have moved on, made the cards more affordable to a degree for One Piece. Baseball card show used to 10 has now been replaced by Pokemon card show with more dealer tables and dealers. Well, if price falls off through the floor, you can get your tables back. Now all the talk is Batman and Mickey Mouse. The hobby is funny like that. Maybe. Good evening, Dylan. Someone casts a perspective spell, making Pokemon cringe. The price will come down and demand will fall, like Eric off a huge rock. I appreciate that analogy. Everyone is collecting Goody Two-Shoes characters. Maybe. For the bubble being in play will probably depend on Fed rate hikes. If the hikes happen, I'd like to see how the card market is, and if less people start buying cards. Well, so that's why it goes back to what I was talking about a little earlier. So I won't get too far into this side of the economics because there is a reluctance to raise rates because that is going to create a bigger problem. However, If you're talking about the super high end, they don't give a shit. That has nothing to do with the high end. If we're talking about some of those record sales and whatever, Fed rate hikes, who cares? They don't care about that. The average rank and file person is not the one who's pushing that price, Brandon. They can't buy it anyway. Like we're talking about when we're talking about some of the stuff that when I'm talking about like $500,000 cards, the majority of people who are operating this hobby are not buying $500 or $1,000 cards ever under any circumstance. Grail, not Grail, it doesn't matter. They don't have it, Brandon. They just don't have it. And if they have it, Brandon, they'd rather spend it on food or electricity or anything else that's far more important today. So those Fed rate hikes aren't going to mean shit. It's not going to matter at all. For that more price stuff, I think a lot of those cartridge logs have kind of, we've talked about it before. The cartridge logs have kind of created this false image. I'm like sitting there like, I remember $100 being a big deal and being a decision. Wasn't that long ago. But like, that almost seems like that standard operating procedure. If you look at the vlogs, oh, that's low end. I was like, no, it's not. For most people, $100 card is high end. It's more of a big deal. They don't have that kind of money to just randomly throw around at things. It's not the case. Trading my Babe Ruth Gowdy for a case of 1978 Love Boat wax packs. Yes. That right there is hashtag invest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling
it. I mean, Ruth has 4 cards in the one set. Come on. Hashtag overprinted.
That's what I'm saying, man. Quadruple print. I always find it funny. I just find it amusing because, ironically, Brandon, one of the things that I will hear from time to time is, part of the reason that some of these rich people are buying this stuff is they're buying it as an inflation hedge. They want to have stuff and property in these things instead of being in cash. So then why would the Fed raising the rates be something they give a shit about? No, it's about having things that aren't tied to the monetary funds because they've run out of, and that's why I gave the example with the Logan Paul on that podcast. Literally when he's describing it, what he's basically describing is, I have more money than I know what to do with, so I need to randomly throw it at random shit to try to see if I can come up with something and keep this entertaining for me. I'm bored of having too much bloody money, Brandon. It's such a problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad world we live in, so many people are struggling out there with that daily dilemma of what do I spend my money on today?
Good old Love Boat. Isaac rookie is the play. Look at that. We're getting this is the conglomeration of minds. This is how we find out what all the proper pump is.
I think we just need to on Cynics, you need to make sure that you let folks know that although you're tied to Dan doing the podcast together, you are not tied to Dan's pumpish ways because he's being very influencer-like tonight.
And they questioned me, Brandon, and my lobbying for the Fanatics Overlord money. They questioned me.
See you, Dan. I see you. I know you gave me a good word. I'm doing the proof of life, breaking the curse, but I can't, like, you're questioning, like, you're making me question here. Did you call my name out and is part of the curse because you're gonna get
Dan, this sounds like a heel turn. This sounds like a heel turn right now. That's what's happening.
It's like, Dan mentioned my name and now he might be tied in with a pump and dump scheme, and it's like he's almost trying to make it like I told him I would break the curse, but he's trying to like maybe drag me into the curse. Like he's going to be my excuse. He's going to be my out.
Brandon, I'm thankful that you're bringing this up. I have been saying from day one, that Dan is secretly using the third cheerful. He's trying to take people out. He's trying.
I don't.
It's the monkey's part.
I'm being good, Dan. Like I can't be tied up in this chaos. Come on, come on.
I just says I heard a dealer say his low end cards were selling well. This intrigued me. He then said, "Yeah, $300 to $500 cards." So the reason, and I thank you for sharing the analogy. The thing is, this is what I'm talking about. I think just real quick, just with everybody in the chat, I want to reframe this. I have no problem. I have been fortunate that I am able to spend a certain amount of my collecting. I've enjoyed it. It's been fun for me for a long time. But a lot of people have expenses. They got kids. They got all these other things they need to be paying for. And I don't forget that. And also, I can't play in the deep water. Where obviously we were talking about like super deep water. But there is a whole area in the middle. The thing is, there are dealers for whom $300 to $500 cards is the low end. I don't deal with those people because that's not a game I'm willing to play. Brandon, I bought $300 to $500 or $1,000 cards, but not all the time. It's not a regular occurrence. It's not a flippant thing that I just, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, here you go. That's not how it works in my world. And for most people, that is the case. And I'm more fortunate than most. But there are people who my yearly spend on the hobby is like a rounding error to them. It's like what they find in the couch and change. Like, what are you talking about? There's levels to this, man. There are levels to this. We have to kind of remember that.
As I used to say, there's different sandboxes. You got to choose which one to play in.
Yeah. Dan is an enthusiastic community member. Look at Amanda bringing the enthusiastic community member back. We'll talk about the enthusiastic community member situation. Forget Star Wars because Battlestar Galactica is taking over. Breaking the curse. YouTube Hall of Fame is coming. I don't know if that's a good thing. That might also be a curse. I'm surprised nobody's mentioned Playboy cards. I saw a few boxes at the National. Better than collecting Batman and tights. If it's that good, Rick, why didn't you buy it? Enough of the Type 1 photos, man. Box of Playboy cards. Rick? Rick? I can't even pronounce that. Is the chase. Tattoo from Fantasy Island. Rookie is 1901 Canada Games face-to-face. Eric DeCarlos. Boss, D-Plane. D-Plane. I like it. I like it, Boozle. Tattoo Rookie was my secret play. I found a Barry Bonds 90s insert in a dollar bin last year. Today it was $200. Actually, thank you for bringing this up, Blue Jays. So, Bobbles and Ball Cards, prolific publisher. Prolific publisher. Now, you had a similar kind of comment on this, and I appreciate Zach acknowledging it. Carlos Zach says limited money to burn, but also will buy Rosen. The chosen Rosen, Zach. The chosen Rosen. And when that chip comes in, it's a mega yacht. Is that called credit card points, not money on the couch? Yes. Well, I think they can have a little bit of both, Paul, if you're talking about that price bracket. I would also think Weiss Schwartz TCG cards would do something since they have the license for major animes that people love. Their threat is viewed as Gooner cards. Yes. Bobbles is coming for Geoff Wilson, maybe. So you made a video, though, talking about the Ken Griffey, because that actually plays into that Bonds thing, the Blue Jays said. So because we've had that with a couple of the Griffey cards. So Griffey cards are a good example. There's a bunch of like random, as Refractor Jones would like to show us in his Instagram post, common as dirt cards that have come up with, because the dude has like 5,000 of each one. But there's stuff like that look, just to be clear, it's not common as dirt. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's not rare. Let's just be clear. A bunch of those are not rare at all, but the price has appreciated a ton relative to what it is.
So I'm going to show you one that shocked me.
Do you want to just send it to me? I can put it on the screen, Brandon, if you want to just put it in the in the stream.
And folks can look these up. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, if you send it to me, I'll be able to share it. But yeah, bottom line is that no, it's silly. So kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier tonight. Obviously, we talked about the whole non-sport thing, the stickers thing. The thing is, maybe a best way to look at this, folks, is just think about this. There are so many categories that we could say this exact same conversation to. A bunch of categories, not a couple, a ton of categories. That says that these people are just throwing money. At this point, they're dispensing it in all these spots. And it's like, there's a rhyme or reason to it. And they've been pushing up a lot of prices on a lot of stuff. Go back here. I'll read these last couple comments and then I'll share the picture. Paul says 97 Metal Marvel has also gone up. Yeah. This guy's playing for box breaks. And the thing is, this is a second go around for the Metal Universe stuff for Marvel because they had their pump initially. And then I guess they're shooting back up again. The Old Man Wilson interview. I look forward to it. That'd be amazing. Geoff. All right. So yeah, we'll share the pictures.
So you'll see there, that's the 98 Metal Universe Diamond Heroes on top, and then 97 Metal Universe Magnetic Field on the bottom. Both of those cards are, I know that the top one is around 250 today, and the bottom one is probably 250 to 300 or more. Y'all see what I paid for those. Again, they were months ago, they were relatively cheap. Maybe not $10 cheap, but they were not hundreds of dollars. So that's something that when I started looking at a few of Griffey's cards that I had, because I've been buying them for years and I always love the inserts. But when I seen how rapidly they rose, that was an immediate red flag. And now, like the video today, why in the hell are people paying 10x on a 92 Stadium Club? Like, we all know 92 Stadium Club is by far nowhere close to being rare, hard to get, anything. And what caught my attention more was there was 2 copies right there available for sale. One was like $6, the other was $2 or $3 plus cheap shipping, and people were still going and paying the $20 to $25 for the 92 Stadium Club card. And I'm like, well, that's kind of where the title came from. What are we even doing? Because there's cards there for $2 and people are just bypassing them to pay the $20, $25, and it makes no damn sense. So
Yeah. So let me actually play into this, Brandon. I'll actually back up your point here with a similar thing, just so we're all on the same page. So let me share this here. Bear with me 1 second. Well, I think I can probably do it this way.
while you're doing that, Brendan Ryan, the problem is once the values are like screaming up so high, there are like the supplies are coming out. Like I've been listing and putting some of my stuff available. And I'll tell you one, the Shaq Meltdown. I said something in the Discord a few days ago. There was only 4 of those graded available. I think the following day when I went and looked, it was like 8 or 10 of them available. Because once the values start increasing so rapidly, people are like, wait a minute, I have one of these. Let me take advantage of this. And then the supply starts coming out. We've seen this during COVID. People were digging in their closets. Oh, I have one of these. Let me sell it. And the supply starts coming out. So there might be a demand there, but when it starts getting saturated, it's unsustainable. So
yep. Rare and demand serve different masters. Yes. Starting to feel like COVID again, where every week you hear about this random market that's exploding. There has been a little bit of that. There is a little bit of that. Hopefully the great curator will make a comeback. Who knows? Who knows? Well, he was supposed to be pumping wrestling too. He had that for a moment as well. 98 Metal Universe Hardball Galaxy set is a fun set. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so let me kind of borrow. I'll back up what Brandon here is saying about this, and we'll use Griffey. We'll stick with that. We'll stick with Griffey. Let me give you an example here that I can speak to on my end as well. Okay, so let me share this here. I got 2 images that I'll share with you back to back. All right. So first one, I know it's a little bit small, but I'll read it to you. So basically, this is just some in Terapeak, some completed auctions. So hopefully that's readable. This is just the last couple of days. I just want to use literally recent stuff here. This is recent stuff. So this is the 97 Topps Sweet Strokes Ken Griffey Jr. So focusing specifically on that.
Yep, I pulled my bonds out. I pulled my bonds out before we came on because Bonds is tracking behind Griffey, just so y'all are aware. But he is seeing a rise because of Griffey.
Mm-hmm. Now, it is now, if you've ever seen these, super shiny. They got some great foil on them. They got like a little bit of pattern to it. It's basically got like a matrix thing going on. Like it plays with the light. They look fantastic. They're really great stuff. So here, these are like I said, the last couple of days, and I could keep going, but I just wanted to share with you some here. So $120.50, August 24th. So earlier today, $95 fixed price. So fixed price is another thing. $140 fixed price, $150 fixed price, $115 fixed price, $125 fixed price. So pretty strong. Pretty strong. Okay.
It was cheap.
So that's all 2026. Back in Yield 2021, I bought Griffey, Bonds, and Frank Thomas for $20.
Yep.
I have the complete set. I have the complete set because I bought the cards. This is December 26, 2021. So just before 2022, I bought the Griffey, the Bonds, and the Frank Thomas for $20. The Griffey right now can do north of 100 by itself.
No, the bonds would probably double, triple. I can't remember what the bonds is at, but he's going up not quite as high as Griffey, but I even said it because one of the cards that I noticed that initially didn't make any sense to me was the regular Metal Universe base Griffey was like 30-40 bucks. And I was like, well, that's weird because it's just the base Metal Universe. And then I looked at Bonds and he was like $3. And I was like, okay, Bonds is going to end up going up because it's the same thing every time. Once one player goes up, people are going to jump to the next, whether it's Bonds, Frank, Ripken, whoever, and they're going to start rising too. So, and Bonds has started to see his rise.
Yep. And but the bottom line there, like I said, just backing up what you're talking about, my bottom line was really simply this. And I explained it this way before. I didn't do anything particularly brilliant. That wasn't a hashtag invest strategy. Brendan, the reason I got that group of 3 cards is because I thought the card, I thought it was cool. And I thought, Brandon, that card is sitting in my Z Folio right now. I've got the complete set in a Z Folio, the whole thing, all the cards in that set, along with a handful of other cards that were as part of it. And by the way, if you take them out and you put them in the light, they look amazing. They're fantastic cards. Like I said, that I got those 3 guys for less than $21. So Brandon, that means less than $7 per card.
Yep.
And I bought it as a group. But apparently that's all it takes. So from $7 to $120, somewhere we'll send Eric to do the maths.
I love, I enjoyed Griffey as a kid, but there comes a point where, and I made a new rule. If it's so laughable that I wouldn't pay the price for it to own the card, then the chances are it should go somewhere else. Because I just don't believe it's going to sustain, And
oh no, there's no justification for that
phrase. They'll let you buy them back, right?
Yeah,
we've been on this roller coaster before, and so I say take the opportunity if it makes sense, and be patient, and you'll probably be able to get them again.
Yeah, and especially like in my case, they're raw cards sitting in a Z Folio. But you saw those are the price of the raw card. Like I showed you prices for raw cards. Now imagine if, and these are condition sensitive, by the way. The foil and everything is scratched.
In a 10, in an SGC 10, I think.
Yeah. So here is an example of a PSA 9. So this is a 9 of the exact card we're just talking about. This is in a 9. So Brandon, just for fun, I just want to have a little fun with the chat since there's a bunch of you there. By the way, hit the like button. Eric pays for it. Even though he's not here, he's here in spirit with the mayonnaise. But I got a question. Chat, don't cheat. I actually want an answer from you. Based on what I just told you, I just showed you what the prices were the last couple of days on a raw copy. Mm-hmm. This is not a PSA 10. This is a PSA 9. 9. Okay? Can you tell me what you think this sold for? This sale was also recent. This was August 20th. It's 4 days ago. This was for a PSA 9. It was a fixed price purchase on eBay on August the 20th for a 9. What do you folks think?
Do you want me to answer?
If you gotta guess, I want people to guess, but I don't want them to cheat. I gave you the raw card.
I have been following the market on Griffey, and I can't remember exactly, but I know it is. I want to say it was somewhere between. It was like 600 or 800, if I remember right. Maybe 9. It was something stupid.
All right. I'm going to give everybody 1 minute. I just want you to think about it. Remember, not a 10, but a 9. But you also saw what the raw went for the last couple of days. And again, this is August 20th.
Mine was an SGC 9.5.
Yep, very solid. So I just want to keep in mind. So $950 for Stu, $300 for Paul, $265 for Rob. Okay, we'll give it a moment. Josh, $1, Bob. I like it. Price is Right rules. I like it, Josh. I like it. All right, we'll let it go here. But I want you to think about that. And then when I tell you the answer, I'm going to have a follow-up question. And my follow-up question is going to be like, if you were somebody that picked this up relatively inexpensively, would this be a time to make the move for you? Because once I tell you the number, that'll be my question for you. Because I just gave you an example of a raw copy that went from $7 to $120 in a raw copy. But we're going to have a little fun in a moment. Ham's got 1177, 550 for Mad Brew. Jeff's got 525. Okay. All right. So, Brandon, are you ready? We shall reveal the results. Mm-hmm. That was a PSA 9. And that's from Terry Peak. I just pulled it right off Terry Peak, including the image. $455 fixed price. Now, that tells me, Brandon, that there's a good chance they probably could have lobbied for 500 plus, because if they were willing to go 455 fixed price, they probably were willing to maybe go a little bit higher. But that's a good solid price. But that's only 4 days ago. 4 days. So the closest right now was Fen, 450. Very good guess. Very good guess. And based on Price is Right rules, very good guess without going over. So within $5. Excellent. Excellent. Well done. Well done by you. Ham says that's still cheap. I don't have any problem with that, Ham. But I'm just saying, I'm asking a question. Now, here's my follow-up question. I don't know what this person was into it originally for. But you just saw that's a very aggressive come up on these cards, especially going from raw copies and everything. I can tell you that a couple of days earlier, a PSA 8 went for $250 fixed price. And again, these are condition sensitive. They're prone to chipping. The cards are awesome. They look fantastic in hand, but they can't chip. And then on August 16th, also a 9, sold $450 in auction. So it hovered around that price point. So that probably explains where they're at. But imagine if you had a 10. Be very interesting to see what that looks like. So here's my question, though. So let me pose this question to you, Brandon, and to everybody else. Let's say you got it in dirt cheap. Let's say you were a lot closer to that $7 example that I had, and I bought it for a group of 3, $7 per, and you send it in. This is back in 2021. We're not the turnaround time isn't as bad as it is right now. Maybe you get it in that time in between. So here's a question. Let's say you submit it for $20. You're $7, $10 into it. So let's say $30 into it, Brandon, and you can get $450 for it, no questions asked. Is that enough of a come up that at that point you just sell the damn thing and move on? Hey, maybe you do buy it back. You just need to wait for your moment, but $450 in your pocket right now, cash money.
I've already shared. I sold a big portion of my Griffey. I took an easier route. I actually have a card shop in town. There's a couple now, but there's one. The owner owns another a demolition business, so they have a lot of cash on hand, and they are big buyers, so they pay strong. And I took them, I took some stuff over, let them look at it. They asked me what I was interested in. My number, I had a potential eBay value. Obviously, I deducted, what the fees and stuff would be at. And then I thought, okay, well, I don't have to list all this stuff either. I don't have to deal with the people. What's your best? This is cash, walking right out of the store. And so I made a deal with them. I still have more Griffey, as I told y'all, and I kept the upper deck. I have an auto, I have pieces that I'm happy with still owning. I own some really, really, really cool Griffey inserts, but I just showed y'all 2 cards that I sold or that I bought for $10. It comes a time. I mean, well, hell, I'll sit here and explain. I didn't need the money, but it's nice having cash like that. And I took a small portion of what I got out of it, just to give you all an idea of how much it was that I got. And I went and bought a brand new couch and a love seat, the electric recline leather. And I also bought an adjustable bed and a very nice, comfy, brand new mattress. And that was only a small portion of what I got for the Griffies. So yeah, it was nice to just take a little bit out of it, go buy a couple things for the house that I didn't have to pay out of, pocket, and bought with some very cheap cardboard. So
Sure. Yep. T206 kids, that card will be sold so fast for me, not a rare card. Josh says if it breaks up my set, probably not. Stu says sell, Mortimer, sell. Just saying. Makes the wife happy, indeed, Orlando. Indeed.
Yeah, and I've put money, to be honest, I put the rest of it away. I've been building a little nest egg of cash sitting on hand. It'll be nice for the expo. It'll be nice when I go to the event that I talked about next year for The Walking Dead. There's There's some other hobbies that I have been doing that cost some not so cheap money. And you never know. Maybe I'll go in and use some of it towards a diehard machine gun.
Wow, look at you.
I mean,
So look,
could you imagine though if I could get it for that, and I could say, hey, I took some Griffies that I had a little bit into, and turned it into this piece. I mean, that would be awesome. So.
D206 Kid says, "It's brownie points with the wife shows that I know what I'm doing sometimes." The only expo that matters, Dan. We don't care about the Shriners. We don't care about the Shriners. The Shriners are peasants. The expo is the only thing that matters. But I'll say this, Brandon, this conversation. In the course of having this conversation, when I did that little search earlier, just to kind of pull up that Griffey, just to kind of pull it up, I also saw that I had purchased a different Griffey, and I'm like, that one's over 100, north of 100. I'm sitting there like, that one is not in a set. I might be going upstairs to the box, grabbing something. Might make a couple of bucks.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's almost silly not to right now, especially when we've been on this roller coaster before. We've rode this train. We've seen where the stop was. Like,
but I will say, Brandon, just to be clear on this, it is testament to how little I'm paying attention to. I knew the Griffies had gone crazy, but I hadn't sitting in a box. To be honest, I hadn't paid attention to it any closer than that. I don't care. So I'm in a position where, for the most part, I don't care and I don't need to care. But with that said, it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to refill the coffers.
Right.
The coffers could use a little refilling.
I believe I had the conversation with Dan. I did not have a clue that Walt Disney card was on a rocket ship until I happened to catch Dustin's video, and I was like, wait, why is he talking about this card? And I went on and looked it up, and I actually found the one he sold, and I seen the price, and his was only a half a grade higher. His was PSA, and mine was SGC, but we were a half a grade off, and I was like, if he's got that for this card, I don't need this Walt Disney card. And it sold in 12 hours. Like, I was like, holy crap, people are crazy right now. So yeah, the same thing though. I wasn't paying attention. Like, I didn't have a clue that it was on the rocket ship. You know, what was it, Space Mountain at Disney? I didn't know Walt got on Space Mountain. So
scandalous, truly scandalous. So it says, so first Duke said, I'm waiting for the expo to be held in Winnipeg. You'd be surprised, man. Hey, you know what? At the rate that Menzie is expanding the franchise, it wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me if they have one at some point. So it says, we all know the Canada built its Toronto Space Needle to look down on Buffalo, maybe. I'm not saying they didn't. Not people of peace. But regardless, Brandon, that was excellent. That worked out extremely well. Now, I can't put my finger on this, Brandon, so maybe you can help me out with this. I feel like this show went super smoothly. I feel like we had some good topics. We had some good discussions, some good thoughts.
You know, there's a particular condiment that is made highly of oil, and oil is very slick and allows things to be smooth. And so we did have our partnership-ish hashtag send the check Hellmans down in the corner, our support team, that I think, helped us get through this. So we appreciate you, Hellmans. And yeah, we're waiting to hear from you.
Indeed. Look, I've been a big proponent of trying to sell out the Fanatics, but I will say I will sell out to Big Mayo.
Yeah.
No questions asked. Say the word.
Yep. Eric needs to realize that they use mayonnaise in certain cookies, and he does.
Well, look, Brandon, I think it's worse than that. Wait until he finds out what's actually in the chocolate stick.
Right? Yeah. I mean, mayo is used in certain baking techniques to make things moist.
Oh, I think that'll make it feel so much better for him. So wait for Nathan Peterman cars to get in the rocket ship. Listen, hope springs eternal. Hope springs eternal. Jeff Wax says, I officially begun my Donnie Wahlberg rookie card pump on my IG. The nostalgia's real. Get in before anyone else catches on. Yes. Rocket ship emoji. The show was so easy to watch, and there was no crankiness at all. I can't figure out what made it so much better. I understand, like, Dan, I'm trying to get my head around this. I'm trying to figure it out. Wild. It's wild. But what I took away from this, Brandon, is that this show made me money because now I'm going to go to the fucking box and find that stupid Griffey
That's
card.
right. Get it while it's hot. That's all I can say.
May as well. Like, Jesus, take the money. Good Lord.
The one in the set is what the results are at the expo.
Yeah, the one in the set is staying for now, but I got to tell you that other card, maybe it's time to move on. Josh just says, to be fair, so smooth to Eric is missing. What? That's what it was. Okay, maybe that's what it was. It's nice to listen tonight without hearing somebody act like it isn't the highlight of their week. It's true. He does whine a lot. A lot of whining. Good thing the guy with the mayo jar is short, so he doesn't cover half the screen. True.
That's Stu spitting facts.
Brandon, I did think about that when I made choices regarding the size of the image in the corner. Choices were made. Strategic choices. Strategery was used. Just saying. In certain European countries, they use mayo as a French fry dip. It's true. It is true. But yes. So hopefully, unfortunately, we didn't solve any of the hobby zills, but I want to leave you on this thought. Hopefully, this is helpful. First of all, hit the like button. Eric pays for it, regardless of whether he's here or not. Second, figure out your lane. It's fun to complain about different stuff. To be honest, it's fun. Complaining is kind of fun. I'm not going to lie. Carlos Sr. likes to complain just for the sake of complaining. He doesn't actually care that much, but he does enjoy, Brandon, the act of complaining is kind of fun for him. He feels like it's his right. He has earned the right, having lived this long, to complain. He likes to do it. It is a joy for him to do so. But if you're doing it in that spirit, that's fine. Do what you're going to do. But I got to be honest with you. The hobby is more complicated than it's ever been. There's a lot of really stupid things. So I'm just giving this final thought here. The hobby is full of really stupid things. That's why rule number 1 exists. That's why rule number 2 exists. It has always continued to exist. But, very important, if you can find whatever your lane is and find ways to have fun with it, I haven't stopped having fun. I have fun right now. Even with the prices being high, even with the silliness, even with all the ridiculousness in all these different categories, my collecting has not become any less fun than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I don't have to go to the past for the good old days because I roll along. I adapt, I adjust, and then I go on about my business. And I still find little things here and there. And sometimes you'll wake up one day and find out something as Z-Folio is worth a couple bucks. Like, all right, you guys want to pay that? I'll take the money. Thank you. And then I'll go get something else with it.
Yep.
It happens sometimes. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Just maybe reframe your thought process on this. And if it really is bothering you that much, then go take a break, man. Go take a break. If that's really what you need, then just do that. Don't stick around and be miserable about it, though. Like I listen to some folks, it's like, guys, it's not that serious. This is supposed to be silly. There's a reason we have a silly card of the week.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an accident. It's one of my favorite segments because there's a lot of stupidity in this hobby. By the way, there was always a lot of stupidity in this hobby. There's always been. We just find different stuff. And it could be worse. It could be like the poker kids. They haven't even lived through it the first time. They're just learning about it now. Good luck to them. We'll see. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Appreciate the chat.
Getting offers on Griffies as we're doing this.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Great job by you. Appreciate you all. Back next week with a regular BIC podcast episode, and then also Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, longest running episodic, whatever it is, we don't know. And if I get in a mood, Brandon, maybe I'll do a video midweek because Steve Aoki picture of the group picture, maybe there's some fun to be had there, allegedly. Yeah. Maybe there is. And now you can go to Bobbles and Ball Cards because now it's like constant videos, all the videos.
And I don't know if anybody has noticed, but I've also been trying to keep it at like about the same time every day. And I don't know that in the history of me doing YouTube that I ever tried to do my videos at the same time every day. So it only took 7+ years, but we might be there.
So, Stuke, all I got to say in regards to your request, I'm on it, bro.
I already told Eric I'm making a cut auto somehow.
I'm on it, guys. Don't worry. Have yourselves a good night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take it easy.
Later, guys. And gal.